Hey everyone, Zach Mason here. So God is prompting me to share more of my dreams and visions. I've had a few flash visions. I mostly get dreams that He's given to me over the past years. I haven't shared a lot of these on this channel, so I'm going to share this one today. And it's about a flood coming into my home. So let me just tell you the dream. I basically was standing in the front foyer of my home and did not and then my family was there with my wife. I saw all my kids, my older kids, and we were kind of facing the front of the house. And then I heard this noise and we turned around and looked back, and there was this huge wall of water coming through the back wall of our home. And but just imagine if you've ever seen a flash flood, or a wall of water coming in down an arroyo in the desert, and just white tumbling water. Just picture when a wave crashes, that white water that's coming like this. It was an entire wall like that, and the back wall of our home is 2 stories. We have a big 2-story living room windows there, so. It was a very tall. I mean, we're talking almost 30 feet high at least. That would wash us away. But I knew it was breaking through the homes, coming in the back. And I just looked calmly at my family and said, hey, if we open the doors and the windows, we're going to be fine. And so everybody rushed, and we opened all the windows and we opened the doors. And I was standing in front of one of the windows, and then and then we're just standing there watching the front of the house. We got our back to the wall of water. We're waiting for it to hit, and then right as it's about to hit, I see that there's these 2 or 3 water bottles full of water sitting in one of the windowsills, and I realized that this wall of water is going to carry them away. And I said, "Oh no, I don't want to lose those." And I went whoosh, and grabbed the water bottles and held them to my chest. And then the wall of water hit, washed past us. I don't even remember getting wet, honestly. And then it subsided, and I still had my water bottles, and everything was okay. And, the idea was we were letting the water drain out through the windows and the door so that it wouldn't destroy the front wall of the house, wouldn't destroy the house. And that was pretty much the dream. I understood very quickly after the dream what it meant. And I'll explain briefly. I'm not going to go in depth into God's symbolism here in this video. But I know a lot of people think that dream interpretation is random or just randomly inspired. Anything could mean anything. And until the Holy Spirit reveals it, you can't know it. And that isn't true. Okay, there's a science to dream interpretation because God uses symbols like a language. He speaks a symbolic language. I've studied His symbolic language for more than 10 years in creation, and He doesn't change the way He uses natural symbols. They always mean the same things. Yes, the Holy Spirit helps illuminate the mind to this, because I guarantee you, the viewer, have a very low understanding of how He uses the symbols compared to what I have, because I've been studying it for 10 years in His Word and through prayer, and He's helped me understand the symbolic nature of creation in a very detailed and in-depth way. So yes, the Holy Spirit has helped me understand this. There was times in prayer I wouldn't understand what something represented. He would go vroom, but then it would make perfect sense. And it's a language. And everything harmonizes. It's not just random, whatever you want it to be, or you don't just get these interpretations out of your heart. Okay, and when people try to interpret dreams that way, they're always wrong. I can usually see it that interpretation is wrong. Nevertheless, how do you interpret this one? Well, it's real simple. The house is my house. My family is my family. That part's not hard. The other elements are water. Okay, water is always a symbol for God's power. When water is applied gently, it produces life. When it comes in force, like that wall of water behind me, it destroys, like Noah's flood, like a tsunami. So water represents God's power. And if you think about all of its attributes, you can see that. It's transparent when it's pure, it's when it's got no impurities in it, but it also cleanses. But even though it's transparent, it's got a little tint of blue in it, like when you get enough of it, which is God's color. God's color is blue. It cleanses, it purifies, it is the source of life. You can't keep it out of anything. It's so hard. Water is the only substance on earth that can actually overcome the law of gravity. Water will defy the law of gravity to climb over itself if you get a narrow enough straw, which is how water goes to the top of trees without any pumps or vacuums or anything like that. Water is an amazing substance, and it represents God's power. So when a wall of water is coming through the back wall of my house, it represents God's judgment coming to society, because this wall was bigger than just my house. And it was telling me about a time when judgment is going to be coming to the country, to the nation, to my neighborhood. And I would be affected by it. But in the end, why do I know this wasn't symbolizing judgment for me and my family? Because we weren't swept away. Like I said, I don't even remember getting wet. So, and my family, we have endeavored to be faithful to God, and this is what he's promised in all the dreams and visions and prophetic words that are from him, that whoever is walking before him faithfully with their house in order will be saved, will be protected from these catastrophic events in general, not 100% guarantee, but not from persecution, but from these catastrophes. And so we weren't swept away because the judgment wasn't for us. In fact, my house wasn't even destroyed when the judgment came, because I followed one instruction prompted by the Holy Spirit, which was to open the doors and the windows to my home, which after I woke up and prayed, I immediately understood this meant generosity. So we have stored up resources for these hard times. But I've also tried to store up enough that I can be generous with my neighbors, with other people who haven't stored up. See, if we're faithful Christians, we're always generous, even in hard times. We're not hoarding. We're not storing up just to be like, no, just for me. You guys should have listened. You should have stored up. No. If you do that, your house will be destroyed, is what I understood from this dream. If I had not opened the doors and windows to my home would have been destroyed. But because I decided to adopt a spirit of generosity, then my home was fine. My house, my family, we were fine. So plan to be generous during the times that are coming. Trust God to restore this provision that you're losing. And the last thing was these water bottles. Well, if water represents the power of God, then the water bottles were representing little bits of the power of God that I had managed to contain for myself. And I didn't want to lose that as the judgment came in. So I was basically instinctively saying, I want to hold on to the power of God that I've had so far, to the olive oil, to what he's done in my life so far. I'm going to hold that tight to my chest so I don't lose that from my heart as the judgment is rolling through, so I can remain faithful and full of his Spirit. So anyways, that's what the dream meant. So the recommendation is, not only should you be storing up 6 to 8 months of food for what's coming, but, and by the way, don't use that all here in phase 1. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with phase 1, watch the video on my channel called 4 Phases of Judgment Coming to America. Don't use your food during the coming lockdowns during phase 1. Try not to. Definitely don't go to a government camp. Okay. Don't do that. We don't want that. Do it. If you need to eat it, you need to eat it. Okay. But try to avoid that. Try to save it for phase 3. Phase 3 is when you're really going to need it. Okay. Anyways, that's all for this video. I hope it was helpful, and do with it what you will. We'll see you soon.